Tonight's headlines are brought to you in part by Coldwell Energy and McDonald's.
Tonight on the Channel 2 News, cryptocurrency, can you bank on it? We'll take a look at some new developments in the industry. Also tonight, we head down an African river with a local resident who has taken pandemic travel to faraway places. And as the minigame approaches, we'll meet a special young woman who is looking forward to lifting a medal this coming June. In sports, volleyball. KSPN2 News is next.
Sorry I haven't been showing up. I was caught off guard when we first met in person.
Sorry, I should have told you right away. Everything seems so perfect chatting with you online already. I just didn't want things to change.
Can you give me another chance?
Are you sure this is going to work out?
Wait. I have something to show you.
I have been figuring this out, and I have been learning sign so I can get to know you better. I like you no matter what.
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hafaday Tirwami and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is February the 23rd. We start tonight with a look at digital currency. Are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies the future of global commerce, or are they overhyped, unproductive assets? China has banned Bitcoin trading. Warren Buffett has called it rat poison in the past, and yet a few days ago, his company invested $1 billion in a crypto-friendly digital bank. John Arroyo from the Bank of Saipan.
Where that cryptocurrency is going to go in the future, I mean, it's anybody's guess. You know, I think that it's here to stay. I think there's going to be more regulations, regulating the use and the accounting of that money. It's just a matter of time.
Will banks be a major part of this potential financial system overhaul? Transactions in digital currencies are done in part by computing power, with machines that don't know each other working together in exchange for small transaction fees.
No, there are definitely transaction fees involved. They go to either what's called miners or validators. These are basically a network of computers that are all coming to consensus about what the ledger looks like. So you might think about it as a kind of a distributed way to maintain a bank ledger, the database that's storing all of the data about how much money is in the bank and whose account is it in. You might think of it as this is a way of doing it through some interesting mathematical means where people who don't trust each other and don't know each other can all come to agreement, and then the people using the network can trust that this ledger is real and everybody can verify it. So there isn't really a role for banks in that portion per se, and that's not what they've been doing.
Saipan resident Vin Armani moved here just prior to the pandemic and is part of a small crypto community that works out of the islands. He says banks could be in the mix of things soon.
We had really two very interesting developments that have come about this year that people were expecting that involve banks. And the first one is, over the years, one of the things that's become the most popular for payments, and what I'm really focused on, is something that they call stable coins. So these are pieces of that ledger, pieces of that database, tokens usually, that are pegged to the dollar. So instead of worrying about things going up or down, if I'm buying something, I can buy it in dollars. It feels like dollars. Just using my phone at a merchant, the merchant doesn't have to worry, oh, is the price of Bitcoin going up or down? They can hold it and then they can trade it again for us as though it was dollars. This last year, there was some guidance from the federal government, from the Treasury, that said banks can begin to issue these. So stable coins. So this is the opportunity for banks to be able to just outright, they said, we don't need any, there are no new laws needed. You had the right to do this, we're just clarifying. So there are banks that are exploring just doing this on their own to start using these networks as opposed to using the networks that they have. Whether that's going to be profitable or not for them, we'll see. The other thing, and this just came out as of 2 weeks ago, is the US central bank has been talking about doing their own cryptocurrency, what they call a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC. So the US federal bank just released, along with it's the Boston Federal Reserve branch of the central bank, and also MIT, so the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They worked together and they created their own cryptocurrency. It's actually a centralized cryptocurrency, but it's really a lot like Bitcoin. They used a lot, there was Bitcoin developers, they used a lot of the things from Bitcoin. So this is coming. In 10 years, it could be that almost all, if not all, financial transactions that are cash that are taking place in the United States will be done with a cryptocurrency. The US central bank digital currency, they call this Project Hamilton. They haven't given it an official name yet, but it works. The code is available, it's open source. I've seen the code, I've worked with the code, I've read the white paper. It's gonna work, they're devoted to it. They've spent since 2015 developing this, MIT and the Boston Fed. So if people don't know what cryptocurrency is, they're gonna know what it is very soon. They're gonna be using it in all of their purchases. So that's a very interesting development, and it has some far-reaching ramifications for all of the financial institutions around.
The 1,600-mile-long Zambezi River flows through eastern Angola, then near the northern border of Botswana and between Zambia and Zimbabwe, all the way to Mozambique, before it empties into the Indian Ocean. Saipan resident Tony Stearns recently back from an almost month-long expedition on Africa's fourth longest river.
The biggest challenge in doing that stuff is in your head, and not thinking that you can do it, or thinking, oh, I'd really love to do something like that, but never taking the step to realize that it's really not that hard to do it.
Rainy season here lasts from November to April, when the area gets about 30 inches of precipitation, often in intense downpours. It's never been a river used as a big trade route, as there are lots of natural barriers, but it is increasingly being used for adventure travel. Where did you start and where did you finish? How long was this trip?
We did 2 sections, and we did each section at least twice, but we did 3 days of boating above Victoria Falls, and it's pretty flat and wide in that area, and it's national park. On the Zimbabwe side, River Right, all the way that we did about 50 miles or so up there, and then the bottom section is national park on the Zambian side as well. So the reason we boated up there was partly just to see it. It's not rafted very often, it's mostly flat water and a little bit of rapids, but that's where most of the animals were in terms of elephants, and there's hippos above and below falls, but that's a stretch that has few people living along it. There's some on the Zambian side, but the Zimbabwean side there's not because it's national park. And it's just a really good, nice, easy float with good camping and just primarily looking for animals and stuff, which was really cool.
Victoria Falls, the most famous waterfall on the Zambezi, named by Stanley Livingstone. It's the largest waterfall in the world, over 300 feet high, 3/4 of a mile across, with about 500 million liters of water falling each minute, the equivalent of 200 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
It's called Devil's Pool, and there's a couple others where there's little natural bathtub kind of little pools. Some are a little bit bigger where you can get in them and you're literally, you look over, you're looking straight down the waterfall.
Did you guys do that?
Yeah.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it's cool. There's a little rope you can hang on. You can't really fall out. There's not enough water flowing through them to wash you out. If you got up and sat on the edge and dangled your feet around, some people have fallen off. But it's actually really safe. It's the spots where you do that, you can either go through water to get to them or you can be hiking over rocks to get to them, especially on the Zambian side where it's low water. You just walk across rocks to get there, kind of hopping over little streams that do go over the edge. But once you get to the little pool, you climb down into it and you kind of mosey over and look down the falls. And I mean, it's really cool looking at the falls as you're looking over that way and looking over that way. Yeah, it's an incredible waterfall, and they've got it set up really nice for viewing and walking around, and spend hours and hours there, and just it's cool.
Below Victoria Falls, the water on the Zambezi gets a bit more exciting. Less animals, more rapids. Let's roll the highlight reel. Rafting teams are led by a guide. He or she sits in the back, calls out instructions to the team. Paddling on the starboard side moves the boat left, and hard paddles on the port side move the boat to the right. The guide can use their paddle as a rudder of sorts to navigate. Here the teams are just having fun, going for speed in this little mini competition on flat water. First team in hits the rapids, and now it's less about paddling and more about hanging on. The whole thing seems to happen in slow motion. Actually, that's just a video effect for more drama. Next team in, and they don't know it, but things are about to get interesting as they go for a ride and subsequent yard sale. Let's take a look from the back of the boat. Go pro, go over, go in. Next boat down, and the guy in front actually hangs on. The guide in back, not so much. Next up, don't worry bro, I got this. Hey, where's your paddle? Good question. Look Mom, one hand. Some people always know where the camera is, but can't quite balance the moment, and we have a swimmer.
On the Zambezi, the paddle boats especially, which is mostly what gets run there because it's mostly day trip stuff, they flip boats all the time. And it's not at all like, probably most trips, if there's 4 or 5 boats, they might have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 flips or more in the day. And again, most of the rapids have a pool at the bottom, so it's quiet water, and so there's a place to pick people up. And the rapids themselves typically flush people out. If we're in a hole and you flip, the water's enough that it kind of flushes everybody out. So it's really not a big deal. I don't know if I haven't heard of any fatalities in that stretch of river. There may have been, but it's a lot of people going down. It's a pretty, even though it's big water, it's pretty safe boating.
Okay, so maybe you aren't going to drown, but what about being a protein shake? The Zambezi is a water source and habitat for animals. Wild ones, hippos, crocodiles are part of the river, and there are some risks coming out of a bucking bronco of a boat. Hippos estimated to kill between 500 and 3,000 people per year in Africa. Crocodiles, perhaps 1,000 people worldwide. What are the safety concerns? You're coming out of boats and there's hippos and crocodiles. Is that a concern?
Yeah, it is a concern, and we were always conscious of that, especially in the upper part where they're the stretch that this is the day run typically doesn't have, there's no hippos in that section because it's a stretch of river that's in a deep canyon. It's about a 400 or 500 foot deep canyon. and the hippos can't get down to the water there. So, but they're pretty prevalent above the falls. We saw probably a couple hundred above the falls, and we would be boating through areas that might have 10 or 15 or 20 hippos within 100 yards of us. And so there's certainly precautions of trying to stay away from them, because they're known to have popped boats, and if you get between a mom and a baby or in a pod of them and they're not happy with you being there, they can definitely chomp on a boat and, you know, pop tubes. Crocodiles are certainly they're risky being around. There was a woman who was on a day trip a week or two after we left there, who was in an area where you generally don't see big crocodiles down in the deep canyon, and she was taken by a crocodile. Fortunately, she survived. So it is a risk, but it's quite unusual. And you know, certainly in camps, we're very cautious about, you know, go swimming. You know, didn't go swimming along the river unless it was a hop in, hop out in a place where make some noise and let the animals know that we're there. And places we would camp, we'd be very cautious being down by the boats and not standing too long at the water's edge. And we had hippos bellowing at us quite often where we would camp. They wouldn't come close, and certainly we saw, probably overall we saw a couple hundred hippos or more. You know, it's hard to count them all. And then crocodiles, we saw a lot, not so many really big ones, but we saw enough of them, and we know they're there, certainly being cautious. And we had elephants come through the camp one night, and they're in charge. If you're where they want to be, they'll kind of come right through there. And on that stretch of the river, we had a park ranger, because we were going along the national park, so we had a ranger with us who had a gun, and he fired the gun off a couple times to get the elephants just, you know, to not come closer, but they were within 50 feet of us in our camp.
Other precautions are taken. These floats on the top of the rafts are inflated and used during particularly dangerous sections to help keep the boat upright, the top of the boat acting as a bumper and rider of sorts. What's it like traveling during the pandemic in Africa?
For whatever reasons, the rates of COVID in Zambia had been relatively low, and it was sort of counterintuitive to us. We figured it would be pretty high with the lack of vaccination and close living in some places, but it's quite a rural country, and a lot of people are out in villages. And I spoke to one of the physicians in a clinic there that I had to go to get a COVID test to leave, and she was telling me that, and she works in the hospital there, they have very few deaths, very few hospitalizations, and very few really sick people. And for whatever reasons, I don't know, most people are outdoors a lot and are not working in office buildings and enclosed settings and things like that. So it seemed, I'd been to Livingstone before, and it seemed, except not having any tourists there, the town seemed normal. People were out and about shopping, and the markets were bustling and all that. And
managing risks is part of adventure travel, and for Stearns, the risk of not doing things much greater than diving in.
I mean, I've always liked to go to places generally where not a lot of other people go. It's the kind of travel I've always enjoyed, and I think that a lot of the risks that people perceive being there aren't. I hitchhiked around Africa when I was in college for 4 months, and everybody said I was crazy to go there, and I never had any problems. For me, it was a very safe place to be. And a lot of people have made comments to me over the years about, how did you do that, or I wish I could do that. And I think most of that's just deciding that you want to do it, and not thinking that there's a barrier there that you can't overcome. And it's a mindset that if you think you can go do something and dream up something that, it doesn't have to be a radical trip or anything, but just going to a place that's new or foreign and taking the risk to step outside your comfort zone and just be in a place and kind of figure it out as you go along.
The story from the Zambezi River, Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News. After the break, minigame athletes are hard at work. We'll take a look next. Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time, and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week. Welcome back. You're watching the Channel 2 News. Weightlifting, one of 9 sports that will be featured at this summer's mini games. Weightlifting for women was first introduced to the Pacific Games in 1995. There are presently 7 weight classes for women.
Friella and Billy Ichiwol, and the sport I'm representing is CNMI National Weightlifting Team.
Training is underway. The bond between coaches and fellow teammates grows day by day.
My team, they're pretty determined and challenging, and they help each other a lot. I feel really grateful to be representing our islands against our neighbor islands. I'm really excited to see everybody come together and see what everyone's capable of, especially on that day.
The mini games will be held in June of 2022. It's the first time ever for it to be held in the Mariana Islands.
Competing at home would be really meaningful because our family and friends are here to support us all, and hopefully we'll be able to inspire the youth to want to do this in the future. My goal is to hopefully win some medals for the CNMI. I'm gonna do my best and make memories with everybody that comes here.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific, better together.
The COVID-19 vaccine is a great way to diminish the spread of the coronavirus and getting our daily lives back to normal.
I want people to feel safe and comfortable when they're around me. I understand that there's so much anxiety surrounding COVID, and I want to do my part in reducing that anxiety.
I wanted to protect myself,
patients,
my family,
and my coworkers.
I have students who also have underlying health issues, and I know that this is my responsibility to take care of myself, but also to protect them and their families.
I encourage our community to go and get vaccinated, for it is our greatest hope to conquer the spread of coronavirus.
Get vaccinated, ask questions, do it for our community.
For the Marianas.
Get vaccinated, CNMI.
One of the best gifts we can give ourselves is a healthy diet. At Gold's Gym, our pre- and post-workout formula is loaded into every smoothie, giving you a satisfying meal with fewer calories. Perfect to enhance a workout or replace a meal, and you don't need to be a member to visit the Shake Cafe. This month, try our Strawberry Peach Cobbler Smoothie of the Month for just $5.50. It's got great stuff in it like soy milk, strawberries, bananas, peaches, and granola. 458 calories of energy, 12 grams of fat, and 25 grams of protein. Fast food that is good for you and tastes great. Shake it up. Gold's Gym, Garapan.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live.
Buenas sports fans.
Buenas sports fans, tonight we start with volleyball. PSS students, teachers, parents, volleyball players, and their fans gathered at Cha-Cha Ocean View Middle School on Saturday for the 2021-2022 Co-Ed Elementary Volleyball Championship.
Oh man, great game today. It's beautiful weather, and hopefully the kids just come out and continue to have fun. Great program. Shout out to PSS and especially Nick Gross, man, staying strong with this whole program.
Nick Gross of PSS Athletic Programs.
Hey, KSPN, thanks for the coverage, man. It's always great to have you. You know, we got 13 teams out here at Cha-Cha Ocean View. We got great weather. We got a little rain coming down today, but any rain in February, we will take it, Mariana. So we got pool play this morning with the 13 teams. Then we're going to take the top 6 come out, and we'll do a single elimination tournament for the top 6 teams. And so we're anticipating a trophy going home by noon today, and we're getting about 30 games of volleyball in. So great time to come support volleyball in the Marianas. Thanks, guys.
This event is made possible with the help and guidance of the Northern Mariana Island Volleyball Association.
All right, so this is PSS Athletic Programs and our partner, the Northern Mariana Islands Volleyball Association. We work closely to make sure that kids have access to volleyball at all different levels. This, as you can see, is our co-ed elementary, and so we're playing 3 boys and 3 girls. We modify a little on the service to make sure the ball can stay in play. But it's a great turnout. We got over 100 kids. You know, Tinian came across the channel. We're so happy to have the Colts here joining us. We got SIS from the Private School Coalition here. And so it really is the Marianas coming together to enjoy sport together. And so we're just happy to be working our way through COVID and making sure that we can keep sports alive.
And let's roll the highlights from this fun and memorable event. Out of 13 teams, Cobblerville Elementary School 2 outscored all their opponents and won the volleyball championship after defeating Olei Elementary School 2 in the final game. The Umongs scored 21 points, just 12 from the Turtles. NMI footballers, the soccer type, currently participating in a week-long training camp on Guam. On Saturday, the NMI women's team defeated Guam in a friendly match at Guam Football Association's National Training Center in Dededo. Then on Sunday, another women's national team played an intense match against Guam's women's team, ending in a 0-0 draw. Meanwhile, the men's under-20 national team lost to their Guam counterparts on Sunday. Yesterday, a day of relaxation for them, spent their time at Guam's Premium Outlet and Micronesia Mall. Go-karts, off-roading, and the driving range now open at Marianas Trekking. Go-kart track will be open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays with 50% off when you book online at marianastrekking.com, hours 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Use the promo code HAFA50 to get your discount. Off-roading is open too by reservation. Come on a 90-minute trail ride that is perfect for families. Book online at marianastrekking.com. Golfers, come practice on the driving range. You can even pay online, and we will have the balls waiting for you. Come see us weekends at Marianas Trekking, 323-8735. It is a windy weather report, mostly cloudy this week with scattered showers, northeast winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's going to increase to 25 miles per hour later in the week. Highs around 86 this week, lows around 77. Small craft advisory remains in effect through Sunday night. Inexperienced mariners, especially those operating smaller vessels, should avoid boating in these conditions. A rip current statement issued this afternoon by the Office of the Governor warning of dangerous rip currents on east and northeast facing reefs. Seas expected to be 9 to 11 feet through Sunday night, and the caution is that swimming will be hazardous and can sweep even the best swimmers away from shore into deeper water. That is news, sports, and weather on this Wednesday in the Commonwealth. Stay safe, CNMI, and we'll see you here on Friday on the Channel 2 News.